Here's a tutorial on how to remove the radiator from a Comfort Pro APU. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the engine bay at the front of the truck, and you're gonna look if your truck has valves in between the cooling lines going to the APU. This is specifically for this Freightliner Cascadia. It has these valves. Basically, these are shut-off valves for coolant going to the APU. You're gonna close these valves, and then since these valves are closed, there's not gonna be any coolant spilling as much. You're gonna come back to the rear of the truck where the APU is at, and you're gonna take off both the top and the bottom covers for the APU. You should be able to take them off. It's pretty easy. You take off bolts on the right here, right here, right here, right here. Then there's a bolt and a nut that goes for the muffler. It holds right here. Let me get a all around view. Once you take them off, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's for the bottom cover. You take them off, you slide the cover out, take off the top cover. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. So you take off 4 bolts for the top cover, slide the top cover off. Next, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take off the muffler. You have 2 bolts and a nut going through the muffler to the bottom of this bracket and that bracket right there. You're gonna take the 2 bolts off. Last thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take off a clamp holding this part of the muffler to the exhaust of this of the APU, and that sits right there. Here's the clamp. You're gonna basically loosen the 2 nuts holding the clamp like so. You're gonna loosen them, and you're gonna wiggle the muffler out. Next, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take off the hoses for the radiator. You're gonna move the clamp holding this hose to the top part of the radiator. You're gonna move it back. You're gonna pull off this clamp or pull out this hose from the radiator, and then you're gonna take this clamp that holds the bottom part of the radiator hose, loosen that, take the hose off as well for the bottom part of the radiator, pull it out. And then what you're gonna do is there's 4 bolts and nuts that hold the bracket holding, basically it's a bracket holding the radiator, and this bracket has 4 bolts and nuts like so, and they go to the back of these brackets as well, the same brackets I just showed you. I'm gonna take off the bolts and nuts holding this bracket, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull this bracket with the radiator down. This is how the radiator sits, like so, in the back of the APU right there. So you're gonna basically pull it down. It comes down. This specific one, the bracket is super rusted. I'll be replacing that actually. So I had to use a punch and a hammer to lower it down with the radiator. And that should be everything to remove the radiator from a Comfort Pro APU.